I spend my time delivering results for the people of Florida and fighting against Joe Biden. That's how I spend my time. I don't spend my time trying to smear other Republicans.
That was Ron DeSantis' response to Donald Trump accusing him of being a groomer. And I don't know if it's gonna work or if it plays well with the Republican base. What I do know is the MAGA loyalists have spoken, and man, they have already begun just putting out vicious attacks against Ron DeSantis. So just real quick, because I know John wants to talk a little bit about what you see behind Ron DeSantis as he's responding to Trump there. What prompted the response from DeSantis was Trump posting on Truth Social to suggest that DeSantis is a groomer. And that was because DeSantis was a teacher at the age of 23. He was a teacher for literally 1 year. It was between him getting his Yale degree and going to Harvard. Anyway, there were some pictures of him at parties with some of the girls and he's drinking. So that's the picture in question. And Trump says, "That's not Ron, is it? He would never do such a thing." And then there were other similar posts. Like he's so greasy.
I just don't want to believe it. Not Ron. He's such a child. Just call him a groomer if you're gonna call him a groomer. Don't like fake reverse psychology him into grooming.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if he's.
No, it couldn't be.
I don't know if Trump ever thinks about possible legal ramifications for defamation, right? He's just not really, he doesn't really like to think ahead. So I doubt it. I doubt it. I think he's just trying to be cute here.
Good point.
And I'm amused by it. Now, real quick, John, I actually missed what was behind Ron DeSantis. What did you want to mention?
Look, really fast, and the other stuff is far more important. I am fairly certain that's stoves.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Because the guy who just stood there and said, "I'm fighting Joe Biden and delivering for Florida," which is why for a solid 3 weeks I haven't stopped talking about the stupid culture war stove thing. And I'm here to deliver tax credits to people who already have electric stoves. Jesus, nobody was buying a gas stove. They already possess gas stoves at above a 90%.
No,
or
they don't.
Electric stoves.
No,
I apologize.
No.
I'm confusing myself because it's so stupid to follow what their culture war is. They don't use the gas stoves anyway.
No.
And so it is so pointless to spend literally weeks as a governor talking about this thing that has no effect on the actual, even conservatives who live there.
No, it's amazing. So I'm an expert at this or on this because I have family that lives in Florida. No one has a gas stove. They all use electric stoves in Florida. I'm sure there are some gas stoves in Florida, but it's a tiny percentage.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 to 11%. I think it's the lowest in the country.
It's amazing.
It's a highly regional thing. It's nothing political about that region.
Floridians,
it's just what happened.
Man, they're missing out.
I know, it's so stupid. But anyway, more importantly, to the groomer stuff or whatever, we were familiar with those photos. You know, that was news like a year and a half ago or something. We have no reason to believe that he did anything inappropriate.
Correct.
Aside from going to the party at all. Why the hell were you there?
But look,
that's really weird.
But for the Republicans who think it's funny or cute or smart to immediately smear your political opponent as a groomer, be careful what you engage in, because pretty soon you're gonna be called a groomer.
How you like them grooming apples? Exactly, yeah, and how would you like, by the way, you think like teachers are all predatory and everything. Well, he wasn't just at a party, he was a teacher at a party. This is exactly what he's been warning about. Was it just projection all along? We'll never know. But the update, of course, is his response.
Yes.
And bearing in mind that the situation is slightly different than 2016 in that Ron DeSantis is more popular amongst the right than the vast majority of Republicans who tried to defeat Donald Trump the first time were. We've seen this response to his attacks before. What he said there is exactly what oh my God, my brain is all over the place. Jeb Bush, I couldn't remember the word Jeb because it's a weird name. Jeb with an exclamation point would have said, or Ted Cruz would have said, or almost any of them would have said. He goes super low, so low that it's conspiratorial and maybe defamation. And your response is, I'm gonna stay focused on my constituents and opposing Joe Biden. And look, I respect that you're trying to keep it above board. You're being responsible. How is that gonna work over the next 9 months?
I don't know. I'm really curious to see it. So as I mentioned earlier, the MAGA loyalists have already begun their attacks. So let me set up that portion of the story so you really fully understand the context here. So recently, Ron DeSantis engaged in some panel. It was an hour-long panel on defamation, and he held that panel on this goofy-looking set. We just got a comment on it. Okay, so it's actually not that bad looking. I'm not gonna
Why
lie.
does the word truth has to be that big?
I mean, that's definitely the goof. That's the goofy part of it, but
yeah, we don't have the word truth.
I gotta say, lighting on point. I also gotta say, I enjoyed my time debating policy and stuff on Ben Shapiro's show. You gotta improve that lighting.
Was the lighting bad?
Oh, the lighting was awful. Like the worst lighting ever. Like you're not doing yourself any favors, and you're definitely not doing me any favors. So please improve the lighting. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So during the panel discussion on defamation, he floated that it should be easier for ordinary citizens to sue media outlets for defamation. But of course, he didn't actually propose any specific policy solutions or anything like that. He says, quote, there needs to be an ability for people to defend themselves, not through government regulation or restriction, but through being able to seek private right of action. What does that mean?
Suing them. He wants to open up the libel laws. He's doing what Trump has said for years. He wants to make it easier to sue people that have a plausible defense under the First Amendment.
But the reason why it's so difficult to win a defamation lawsuit is because we have this thing called the First Amendment, right? So
which they love.
Which they claim to love, but to have a loosey-goosey definition of what qualifies as defamation or libel is a really bad idea.
Yeah, I know that my brain has been all over the place today, so I apologize for that. But you're confusing me because it almost seems like they don't actually mean any of that, and it's all opportunistic.
Yeah, 100%.
And when it benefits them to be authoritarians, they're going to go in that direction. That's what it seems like. But I'm befuddled today.
So during this panel, John, there was a person involved. Dominion Voting Services lawyer Libby Locke was part of the panel. And this is where the MAGA chuds lost it. Oh my God, it's Dominion, no! So here's what they had to say about it. You got Mike Lindell. DeSantis hosting Dominion lawyer Libby Locke. He's showing his true colors. Ali Alexander. DeSantis isn't just trolling Trump, he's now trolling us. I'm sure Ron DeSantis is sitting around thinking about you, Ali, I'm sure. Brings on Dominion Machine's lawyers to complement their defamation cases, which target free speech and election integrity activists with frivolous claims in front of the word truth, using same font as Truth Social.
I don't know if
they're
that's true.
So petty.
It definitely looked like he was trying to mimic the truth thing. I thought that earlier.
No,
so for the first time ever, I've agreed with Alexander on something.
So maybe DeSantis is a little more clever than Jeb Bush was in responding to Trump. Because clearly the trolling worked. I mean, you've got all these people freaking out. Sebastian Gorka, as confused as ever, simply tweeting, what?
That could have been about literally anything. He could have just stood up from the toilet, looked down and said, what? I don't know what his life is like. Probably that, that's probably what it was. I'm gonna make that specific allegation. Sue me if you want, we'll see if Ron DeSantis helps you. Yeah, no, the whole thing is bad. I don't know if it was trolling, I don't know if it's a response or whatever. I assume that what he was doing with his whole thing about being able to sue the media or whatever was reassuring conservatives that he wants them to have power over the fake media. That's probably entirely what it's about. And they're not gonna think multiple steps ahead. Like for instance, if this whole thing is about being able to defend yourself against defamatory statements, then at some point you start to question, what's the media? Is it someone who has a very large audience, who traffics in media criticism, discussion of the news? Well, at some point, Libs of TikTok is throwing around a lot of accusations of grooming and stuff. Kind of seems like Ron DeSantis wants them to be opened up for lawsuits from third graders that they accused of being groomers with absolutely no evidence. You could have a substantive conversation about this. He's not interested in that. As you point out, he's not actually proposing a specific thing.
Right.
He just wants to give vibes of authoritarianism.
The country runs on vibes, folks.
Well, the right-wing primary certainly does. Now the question is this a sufficient defense when the other side is coming at you with accusations of pedophilia? Is that gonna work? Is that gonna work for March and April and May and June and on and on and on the debate stage? What is he going to do when Trump calls him a groomer 10 feet away from him? I haven't seen any strength. I think he literally might cry on the debate stage.
Who, Ron DeSantis?
Yes, and the right-wing base loves strong men, not actual strong men, but their fake cartoon version of a strong man.
Yep.
And DeSantis does not give off that sort of strength. It's one thing for him to be able to attack the left or the LGBTQ community or whatever. In a general election against a Democrat, that makes him look strong. This isn't that. Trump's gonna be doing that too. That advantage is gonna be nullified. He's going to need to stand up against the person attacking him, and he just doesn't seem to have the constitution for it.
But how do you wrestle with a pig, right? Like, how do you compete with that?
Nobody's been able to on the right. That's why nobody's beaten him in a primary.
I mean, look, if Ron DeSantis is serious about slapping down Trump, he's gotta hit Trump where it hurts, right? The fact that he inherited $413 million from Papa and then squandered it multiple times.
Or
right?
What about nullifying the pedophilia charges? If you wanted to, you could mine Trump's past and find some pretty amazing things that he's said.
Damn, that would be
fighting fire with fire.
Amazing. That would be amazing. Do it, Ronnie. Do it. I support that effort.
I mean, I hate this entire thing.
No, I love it.
But it'll be exciting.
It's the
I don't
best.
like that American politics has descended to routine accusations of pedophilia.
We've been here, okay? This is where we've been.
Get used to it.
No, I hate it. I also hate that,
yes.
right? I hate that there is no debating policy anymore, okay? As soon as corporations captured both parties, everything devolved into garbage. Everything devolved into nonsense that actually at the end of the day really has no impact on your life. That's all we talk about all day long. Never policy solutions for what's actually impacting Americans every single day. That is what frustrates me beyond belief. But if we're in this climate where people are calling each other groomers, let the infighting in the Republican Party continue.
We'll watch.
At least we're entertained.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.